All right, what's going on, guys? Welcome into the Tuesday edition of In the Game. I am your host, Hustle, and as always, we will be diving in to the crypto gaming markets today in a different way because obviously, if you've been following along with the videos, I haven't really been talking about a lot of altcoins, and as we see with the current state of the market, it's not the altcoin market. It is definitely not the market to have been buying in over the last month, 2 months, etc. But the one strength that I have found in this entirety of the market is investing in these yield earning play to earn games, which I will explain in this video why timing and being early and spotting trends for up and coming games can put you in a position to farm tokens in a stable yield in these games and actually be able to make money in the bear market. And when I say this, there are a lot of people in this industry and in the crypto world who the only way they can make money is in a bull run. I'm going to explain to you exactly how I pick out these games, see the trends emerging, and we're going to go over exactly how I vet a game to get into and try to see if the yield will be sustainable. And I'm going to emphasize the risk that comes with each and every one of these economies. Without further ado, let's get in the game.
T-minus 15 seconds. Guidance is internal. 12, 11, 10, 9. Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
If you ain't here to hustle, why is you here? But if you here to hustle, the moon is near. It's crypto Banter, not financial advice. If you don't listen, what's the cost, what's the price? This ain't a game, put you on game. I know you gon' play, but ain't a cent. If you ain't here to hustle, why is you here? But if you here to hustle, the moon is near. It's crypto Banter, not financial advice. If you don't listen, what's the cost, what's the price? This ain't a game, put you on game. I know you gon' play, but ain't here to play. If you get lost, show you the way.
All right, let's start it off with a couple of tweets I tweeted today because this is just being realistic about the current state of the market. And obviously, yesterday was one of the most hectic days I've seen on crypto Twitter and in the markets in general with the DPEG, everything that was going on. Bitcoin absolutely was dropping like by the minute almost. We were just seeing the markets in turmoil like we haven't seen in quite a long time. And people ask me all the time, especially, on these shows, in the comments section, on Twitter, where's my next 50x gem? I want this altcoin. I want a brand new project that they want me to put them on. But right now, there's a reason that I am not chasing altcoins. I am not looking for the next altcoin investment. This market for 6+ months almost has not been an altcoin market since Thanksgiving. On November 24th, I believe, was Thanksgiving of 2021. Since that time, the market really has not been the market to invest in these altcoins, ape in, so to speak, on these low caps and looking for these big moonshots. It's just not that type of environment. Sometimes preserving your capital and having bullets in the chamber is much more important than just spraying and praying on low cap altcoins, praying for some sort of news pump, etc. This is just not the market. And as Fred says, survival strategy for up to 2 years is crucial. Like, parlaying on that, keep stable coins. Take profits when your coins pump, guys. If you have a 2x, let's just say you have $1,000 in a coin. You grow that position to $2,000. Your coin goes from 1 cent to 2 cents at a $1,000 investment. You bring that $1,000 to $2,000. All of a sudden, you have a 2x. Take out your principal investment, and then you are risk-free. You are technically, so to speak, playing with house money. Your principal is already off the table, and every bit of dollars that you left inside of that altcoin are strictly profits. Always keep stable coins. Do not hold low market cap tokens on the way down. Like if you're still holding caps of 10 million and below, 5 million and below, even 25 million and below, in these types of environments, you are going to get slaughtered every single time. And you can go through my recent videos here on In the Game. I don't really talk about altcoins or new coins to get into because once again, this is just not the environment. But the one thing that people can say over the last few months is even if you are involved slightly in the play to earn space, you are at least having a daily, a weekly, or a bi-weekly payout from these games, or whether it's a Crabada, whether it's been Pegaxy, if you got in early through the swings with Cyball. There's so many different economies that if you are positioning yourself right, catching the trends and getting in early, timing is everything in every single market in the world, right? When there's panic, they always say to buy the fear, and when there's too much greed, they always sell the greed, right? Well, it's the same mindset here. You need to have a strategy and know exactly the risk you are taking on when getting in this game. So let's go with the first play to earn economy that we really smashed and got into and really made the most of, and that's Pegaxy, right? So people will always look at the Vigorus price and they'll say that this project was a failure. That's the narrative, right? People say that, well, Pegaxy failed. Well, they absolutely didn't. They onboarded more users than they ever expected to, but the economy wasn't sustainable enough to reach those levels and have that player count without the VIS token being completely oversold, and the inflation rate just got completely out of hand. But as mentioned, we brought this game to you right here on 12/17. We bought our first horses, and we mentioned this right here on this channel. So it's all about being early. How did we spot that trend? How did we spot that trend? Use apps like DappRadar. Use these trend apps to be able to see, okay, right around December 17th, this game only had 3.7 thousand users. Well, during this bear period, right, it's been bear market basically since December, we're looking at a massive uptick in users. 5x in users, 6x in users, 7x in users in just a 2-month time period. So when you see this number of users just steadily climbing, and you're seeing that transaction volume also climbing, this is the exact activity that made me spot Pegaxy as a nice bear investment to be able to get into these horses and produce bi-weekly VIS earnings. And that was absolutely lucrative, especially at the 22-cent levels. We also brought Cyball to you before this game was even live. And we were able to clear our initial investment on this game already. And we still have all of our Cyblocks in play, loaned out, where I'm not even playing the game, right? You're able to invest in these assets. And if you are able to rent them out, you could just have a profit share for a player who is actually using these assets and earning for themselves as well. So we positioned ourselves early on Cyball. And one thing that people have to understand, this goes back to Pegaxy. 37% of games on Steam, the leading game provider on all of online, on all of gaming, for example, 37% of these games have never been played. These games never get played. So people have to understand the volatility, not only in crypto gaming, but the volatility in real gaming. Some people just make these games and they actually never pick up traction. So imagine putting millions of dollars into a product, into a game, and these games go unplayed completely, right? And the stats also show that over 90% of games on Steam have a monthly player count of less than 50 players. You have to understand, gaming is a volatile industry. Call of Duty rules the first-person shooter space. Counter-Strike, Valorant, these big games, these Fortnites, Apex Legends. There's so many huge games out there that are fighting for this top spot in this industry. You have to understand the amount of little games on the bottom that never even get played. So when people come in and say that Pegaxy was a failure, it's definitely the wrong narrative, because they had a massive hype cycle. They had a massive player count. But the problem here is the added volatility that you get when you add economics to it, right? So it's one thing for a game to die, a game to lose users. But then when there's liquidity involved and there's people's money on the line, that becomes a lot more volatile, as we see here with these inflationary metrics on these tokenomics. So if you're getting into these two token economics, you're not just investing in some game. You need to assess the economy. How long is this going to last? And try to position yourself in the right time period to get involved in these games. And, talking about right time periods, I've been talking for a while about Crabada. Crabada, I've been in for about 4.5 months. It has by far been the best play to earn investment I have ever made. I mean, it yields consistent daily returns, and that you can choose to put into UST, which obviously depegged yesterday. I'm sure everyone else on the channel has talked about that. But have a profit-taking strategy into stables. Keep some for Tusk to keep compounding your crabs and adding more crabs. And Crabadas are very cheap right now. They're about $200 per crab. So if there was a time to get into this economy with low gas network of Swimmer Network, which is powered by Avalanche, with the treasure under the sea token as the burn mechanism, that's the trends you want to get in front of. They're about to lower the gas. They're bringing in a full-blown Axie Infinity-esque battle game to this economy, which could bring in a whole new wave of players that were in Axie Infinity that are looking for a brand new game, a brand new economy to get involved in. And what do I think Tusk will reach long-term? That's so hard because even though with the blockchain, it's still an inflationary token, there's just a massive burn metric added onto it. So I will not be giving any price predictions or anything like that. But I do think positioning yourself in an economy like Crabada, when the blockchain hits the game on the 13th, so the network is live today, but the game migrates on the 13th of the month. So this is a good position to potentially slide into an economy like that when you see these trends evolving, right? This announcement was over a month ago. We have been waiting on the subnet for Avalanche. We saw the play that DeFi Kingdoms took. DeFi Kingdoms 3x'd in a matter of a couple of weeks leading up to the blockchain. And I think actually after the network is when Crabada will see some good price action because of the influx of players that come in for the battle game, as well as the lower gas fees on the network that are also burning 50% of every transaction. And if you haven't seen the transaction volume, which makes me so bullish on this game, I'll go ahead and show you the transaction volume and the amount of transactions on a game like Crabada. Just in the last 24 hours, we have 370,000 transactions. Over the last 30 days, 14 million transactions. These are the trends that make me bullish on a game, bullish on an economy. There's one thing that hasn't stopped growing here, and that's the user count, guys. The user count has never once taken a dip. Find these trends, utilize these trends. Nobody is leaving this game right here. For example, when you go look at a game like Pegaxy or Axie Infinity, you can actually start to see a big decline in players. They're losing over 50% of their players. And let's just go to Axie Infinity just to show you that even the top dogs lose players because no game is invincible in this market. Every single game that there is has a time. I would call it a shelf life, right? Games have shelf lives. Call of Duty has to make a brand new game every single year to keep people interested. It is no different in blockchain games. So if you think a game will last forever, that is definitely the wrong mindset. So when you get involved in these games, know the risk involved, right? So the biggest game in the space, the king of crypto games at one point, Axie Infinity. Let's just look at the volatility of their player counts, right? So I'm waiting for this to update here on the all chart. This is a lot of data with Axie Infinity. If we can get that all chart up. But even over the last month, you're seeing a multiple. Yeah, here we go. So up here, we were at 50,000 users. Today, we are at 12,000 users for Axie Infinity. So you have to understand that when you look at a stat like this, and you look at the fact that 90% of games on Steam in general don't even get played, know the risk when you're getting involved in these games and try to spot the trend ahead of time. For example, another economy that's emerging on a hot blockchain is Metaderby. And this is a highly, highly volatile perspective investment. Let's just say you get into this game. It is another 2-token economic game. It is very volatile, very high risk. But when you position yourself, like I mentioned right here, take stable coins. When you take profits in these play-to-earn games, keep stables. It gives you an arsenal, a lot of ammunition to be able to fire on these games. For example, I picked up a couple of horses in Metaderby because I have the ammunition between Pegaxy, between Cyball, between my rewards I did yield and the pump that came with DeFi Kingdoms blockchain, with the daily Crabada yields. I have the ammunition to go ahead and spray at a game like Metaderby, which I do think about this. Pegaxy went through this massive hype cycle, and the Avalanche maxis. I know a ton of Avalanche people on my timeline and just out there in general. They might not have participated in Pegaxy because it's on the Polygon chain. There are a lot of whales on independent blockchains. So yes, It is a horse racing game. People are going to say it's a copycat of Zed Run or Pegaxy, D-Race, etc. But I think each blockchain has their own little niche communities. And if you look at the play to earn community within Avalanche, this game is high on their radar. And I do feel like it's because they didn't get involved in a Pegaxy. So they see the potential in a horse racing game on their native blockchain in Avalanche, right? And just some stats for their first week of beta testing. 21,000 races. They burned over 1,000 NFT tickets and is the top 1, 2, and 3 collection on Kalau, which is an Avalanche NFT marketplace. There's over 1,000 horses racing, as well as over 700,000 hoof tokens already distributed to races. So there is a lot of activity already going on in Metaderby. So that is one I am looking into prospectively. If this does, show the trends, I picked up a couple of horses here because, as mentioned, you set yourself up. You take profits when your coins pump in the bull run. Not a lot of people can make money in the bear market. But one thing that play to earn can do is certify that you are getting paid every week, every day, bi-weekly, monthly, and most people in this market are just chasing dreams, chasing pumps, and they need a full-blown bull market to make money. While on this show, I have been showing you these steps of the way. All I do on my shows, guys, is try to present you the moves I am making. I try to not sugarcoat it. I try to not hide anything that I am doing. I am a full open book. And if I am looking at an economy, if I am looking at a game, if I am looking at a token, you can be rest assured that I will present it to you, because my motto is I only present and only deliver opportunities that I either would be willing to get into or am into. So all I am doing is presenting you my playbook. You can take my playbook, adjust it to your strategy, and roll forward into these economies, spot trends, assess your risk, and execute. Get in on these games and start yielding tokens, because I promise you, the compound effect is massive. I have not sold Pegaxy horses. I have not sold a single crab. I have not sold a Cyball and Cyball. My play to earn assets are still all yielding rewards. Price of the token doesn't matter because the timing was there. So I just wanted to preach to you a little bit of strategy, a little bit of ways to try to look at the trends potentially between DappRadar. Look at the games that do fall off in user counts, right? This is a very volatile industry. Crypto gaming, but it's not a game right now. This is an investment. People need to treat it that way. When you get into a game, it's just not all fun and dandy at this moment. I'm going to be honest. When I see people on YouTube saying, I play Axie Infinity for fun, that is ridiculous. People are in crypto gaming at this very moment to yield rewards because the games simply are not there. It's not appealing to the user to come from the outside world to come into crypto gaming. So until we get to that point, no matter what anyone tells you, crypto gaming is a money. It is a play to make money at this very moment in time because only Web3 users are involved in crypto gaming at this moment. You tell a normal gamer about NFTs, crypto gaming, etc. They look at these tokens and the fluctuations and they're like, I'm good. I'm going to stay away. NFTs are a scam or whatever they think. We have to buck that trend eventually. And fun games will come. But in the current state of things, crypto gaming is all about invest X to earn Y. And that's why people get in on these games. So please assess your risk properly, but use these tools to go ahead and try to spot those trends, find where the users are looking. Because as mentioned, we showed the Pegaxy trends. Pegaxy grew the most in the bear market. If you look at their January growth, for example, they literally tripled their user count in 1 month during a full-blown bear market. And yes, all these economies, Jay, this has been the point of the whole thing. These economies do end up dying. You are 100% correct. Just like games end up dying. 37% of Steam games are unplayed. 90% of Steam games have less than 50 active monthly players. Games die. you add an economic aspect to it, and you're taking the volatility from the floor level to the ceiling. So I'm trying to emphasize that. If you missed my point on that, you can go back earlier in the show, because I feel like I elaborated quite well on that. And then just a little bit of positive crypto gaming news. A project that I have been looking at quite heavily, it's Realms of Ethernity, is an MMORPG, pretty likening to World of Warcraft or RuneScape. They just announced a big investment from Nexo, one of the leading lending platforms in all of crypto. So you have to imagine maybe what the incorporation would be with a partnership with Nexo, but good to see Nexo bringing in a 6-figure investment into Realms of Ethernity, a project that I definitely have my eyes on. So let's go ahead and close out the show. If you enjoyed the video, if you got value from trying to show you how to pick out trends, see the user count, see the transaction volumes, what are the social sentiments on Twitter, follow Polygon guys, follow some Avalanche guys, follow some BNB guys. These guys know their blockchains really well. Outsource, try to see what people are looking at and spot these trends, position yourself right. And I promise you, these play to earn rewards will be very, very fruitful. I'm going to get out of here. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. I'll be back tomorrow with a big show. I'm excited. We have a special roundtable planned for tomorrow that I cannot wait to hop on. I will see y'all then. Play well and play smart, my friends.